When it just started and I was watching the opening sequence of the movie, I was like, we're in for a good one. Some Uncharted action-packed goodness. But I didn't exactly get that. Now I, like a lot of people who probably watch this, love the Uncharted games. They're just great, very action-packed, with a lot of huge stunts and enjoyable characters who are pretty entertaining and charismatic. They're just really great adventure and exploration games. With this movie though, it just felt like a watered down Uncharted. Look, video game movie adaptations have a pretty bad track record. Some have been pretty decent, but most of them just don't live up to expectations, to their source material, and this movie feels more of the same. So it's important to go into this not really treating it as Uncharted and not expecting too much, and once I adjusted my mindset in that way, I ended up having somewhat of a decent time with it. While it is similar to the original games by having a few references and some of the same characters, story, environments, stunts, etc., it also feels different, and that's largely due to the fact that we don't have an adult Nathan Drake, we have a younger version of him played by Tom Holland. Which is a shame. At least that's what I thought when the movie was first announced. Look, this is a topic within itself, so I'm not going to go too in-depth about it, but at first I was pretty bummed because I would have liked to see Nathan Fillion play Nathan Drake, and I have always wondered why that hasn't happened yet. Because with their little Uncharted short film that was made around 3 to 4 years ago, it just showed us what an Uncharted movie could look like. And boy, did it look promising. So yes, initially learning about this Uncharted movie with a young Nathan Drake was pretty disappointing, but if they somehow make a series out of this and invite Nathan Fillion on board, then that would be spectacular. Which I'm not sure if they will. But if they do, it doesn't look like it will be the next movie. I'm not going to say any more than that. Those who haven't seen the movie will have to watch it to know what I'm trying to say. Man, are we really going to wait until after 2025 to see that happen? God damn. But anyway, in regards to the movie revolving around a young Nathan Drake that Tom Holland plays, I feel like this will divide people. Some people might not like it, while others might, and that's solely subjective. For me, I actually enjoyed Tom Holland's performance in this one, and also Mark Wahlberg's. While they don't feel exactly like their characters in the original games, they were still pretty charismatic and entertaining, and ended up making a pretty good duo, I thought, and this was a pretty entertaining movie for the most part. I enjoyed the journey going from place to place, the exploration, finding puzzles and treasure, and infiltrating places like you see in the games. The story wasn't the most interesting though. Along with the villain, just felt like some generic bad guy or group or whatever. Didn't really care about them whatsoever. And I also felt like there was a lack of action as well. Like I was expecting more because I do remember how action-packed the games were, so that was a bit of a letdown. The movie spends most of its time with its story, traveling and figuring out the mystery on hand. There was a whole lot of talking, but when the action was there, I did feel like it didn't really disappoint. Although, because we have a young Nathan Drake in this one, we have a pretty inexperienced one. Struggling during fights, hardly ever using a gun or any sort of gun in this entire movie, despite guns being such an integral part of the games for the protagonist. So yeah, because of that, this movie feels like Uncharted, but also doesn't feel like Uncharted at the same time. And with Tom Holland's Nathan Drake, I was expecting to see more of his development, from a small, timid boy to the Nathan Drake that we all know and love. But we didn't exactly get that. It just looked like he already had some skills and we didn't really learn how he got them. And that's the thing, this movie feels small, like it feels like it's not in depth enough about Nathan Drake's backstory mostly, but also about Sully's as well. We didn't really get enough time to learn about their characters' individual stories. We're just kind of thrown into their lives, and because of that, this movie provides little to no emotional value. This movie for the most part just felt like it got crammed with a bunch of Uncharted related stuff and they called it a day. Like I said, a watered down Uncharted. It's a movie that feels like Uncharted, but it doesn't live up to those super iconic and enjoyable games. That's why it's important to go into this and not expect too much, and you might have a decent time with it. For the average moviegoer, they might enjoy this one, maybe even a lot, but for movie fanatics, or I feel like mostly the Uncharted fans who adore these games a lot, this will probably leave them feeling more disappointed than satisfied. Because if I look at this without comparing it to the games, then it's pretty good. It's entertaining, humorous. The journey was pretty fun to watch, and even though there wasn't enough action, the action scenes were still pretty satisfying. I'm going to give Uncharted a B-. Can I also say that the trailers also spoil some pretty big moments? So like before like a big scene with like, we already know kind of what the end result looks like. For example, in the auction place and also with the ships and the helicopters. Man, that's the reason why I never watch movie trailers before I watch a new movie. But I mean, when they get shown in the previews of another movie, there's nothing I can do about that. But anyway guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed. And as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.